Hey, y'all, you listen to the Gary Owen podcast. Hashtag GetSome. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the GetSome podcast. As always, you can listen to this on iTunes. Just search Gary Owen, hashtag GetSome. Or you can watch it on my YouTube page, youtube.com// I've been corrected, Gary Owen.com. Starting my schedule. This weekend, I'm in San Jose at the Improv, March 8th and 9th. Then I'm in Columbus, Ohio, March 14th through the 17th. Then I'm at the Cache Creek Casino in Brooks, California, March 22nd. March 28th through March 31st, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina at Good Nights. I thought I was going to be doing this week back in California, but as entertainment goes, you never know where you're going to go. So I end up having to fly back to Cincinnati, and I've been in beautiful weather in Florida for like over a week. And now it's freezing and snowing here in Cincy. I was in Naples, Florida last week. I was in Orlando, Florida. Thanks to everybody that came out. And then I did a charity event for the Miami Heat. Talk about catching a fucking brick. Man, no laughs in the room. None. That was the longest 30 minutes I've had in a while. Here's the problem. They booked me. They said, we haven't had a comedian before. They always book like music acts. And the Heat's got deep pockets because you got Mickey Harrison, who made all his money on Carnival Cruise Lines. And then obviously it's just an NBA team. So a lot of the guys in the front office and the powers that be knew me because I used to do Chris Bosh's birthday party every year. And then I did Wayne Ellington, who played for the Heat, at his birthday party last year. And those shows are always a little weird because it's not a big crowd and the players are there and they're always having a good time. But then you got other people there like work for the front office and you got people that pay a lot of money just to be around Heat players and stuff. So this event was one of the Heat's charity events, and they did it at the Fillmore right there off South Beach. And I should have hosted is what I should have did. I'm up there and I'm trying to give some of my A-list material. Then I just went in on the team a little bit, and even that got a few chuckles, but it was just, honestly, looking back on it, there's nothing I could do different. It just happens. And I'm not going to blame it on lack of sleep. I'm not going to blame it on liquor. I'm not going to blame it on drugs. It just was a brick that I caught. And I think that's the universe just catching up with you saying, Gary, you ain't as good as you think you are. But what's crazy is after the show, everybody had a good time. Like Pat Riley came up, and of course I know Dwayne, and I know Alonzo Mourning and Udonis Haslem and all those guys. It's like everybody's like, man, that was funny. And it was like, I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all from you guys. But I found out later on, and still thanks to the Heat for having me, because they left me courtside seats right next to the bench. My road manager, Brad, wore sunglasses to the game, which I always think looks stupid. And everybody thought he was Flow Rider. Everybody thought it was Gary Owen sitting next to Flow Rider at the game, because from afar, Brad favors a very malnourished, out of shape Flow Rider. But with the shape of my road manager's head and sunglasses, it looked like Flow Rider. And so thanks to the Heat, they put us up at the One Hotel, which is, man, that's a nice hotel if you've never been there. It's really dope. So we had a good time. Outside of that, it was just everything was good about the gig except the gig. I'll put it that way. But I found out later that some of the players was like, they were so happy that they had a comedian on stage because it distracted the people from messing with talking to the players while they ate. Because literally, I could hear the forks hitting the plate. That's how silent it was when I was on stage. I could hear people digging into the salmon. And it was just like, and it was funny because, as any comedian will tell you, entertainer, when you do like corporate gigs, you don't know what you're getting, what you're walking into. I mean, it could be a great room. Like I did this thing for Orkin 2 years ago, and my show, I was on at 8:00. I was a comedian. I hosted the show with some awards program. They had it at Playa del Carmen in Mexico, and it was beautiful resort. But I had never performed at 8 a.m. before. But those Orkin crowds were freaking amazing. They were just up and at them, and I don't know, their energy was great in the room. Not so much last week in Miami with the Heat. But it happens, man. So it is what it is. The good thing is Dwayne, Alonzo, and all the Heat players, they've seen me numerous times. So, they know I'm funny. So one like they was like, never book him again. But sometimes I'll be thinking 10 years ago, if I had a flat crowd like that, I would have started sweating. I would have just been mad. I would have been rushing my jokes. I literally was up there having a good time at the expense of nobody but myself. I was just enjoying it. I was enjoying the silence. So with that, thanks, Miami Heat. Thanks for letting me do that and catching a brick. So I appreciate it. And then thanks everybody in Orlando and Naples, though, man. Those crowds are fire. And then the week before that, I was in Kansas City, and we got snowed in. We had to cancel one of the shows on Friday because we caught a blizzard. And then I went to Des Moines and Omaha after that. And those shows were great, too. So thanks, everybody that came out in those cities. Now, I was supposed to be in California right now, but I got asked to do a couple episodes of the Maury Povich show. Now, before you say, what are you doing on the Maury Povich show, Gary? It wasn't like that. I'm not the baby daddy. I'm not doing that. It's just they asked me to do a couple segments with Maury. I'm not at liberty to say what they are yet, but in the next couple weeks, look for me on a couple episodes of Maury Povich. They came up with some interesting concepts for the show. I'm actually excited to do it. And that's a new audience for me, the daytime TV audience. So I got to fly to New York in the morning to do Maury this week. So that's why I'm back in Cincinnati filming here at the Timeless R recording studios with the hip hop background. Still ain't got a lot of white guys on the wall. That's it. So this week my dad's back on, and this was crazy. So I called my dad last week. We were just talking, and he was just like, "Hey man, I really want to do the podcast again. I missed it, man. I mean," and I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, "Dad, it's gonna be a long fucking time for you to do another podcast because I don't know when I'm gonna be in Cincinnati again." And just look what happens. Dude put it in the universe, and he's back on.
Yeah, man. Hello.
Anything you want to say to your fans? Because clearly you have some now.
I'm still here. I mean, I'm just not available every week. I really miss it, man.
Have you been stopped at all?
Yeah, one time. It was at a casino, and the guy came up and said, "Hey, man, I really like the podcast." I said, "Hey, you should put me on more. Yeah. You should."
God, you sound like Bill Clinton. Nobody tells you don't sound like Bill Clinton.
No, I just
right now was closing my eyes like, you sound just like Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
That's your favorite president?
Oh, yeah. He's my favorite.
Speaking of president and people that support the president, Robert Kraft had a little incident last week, a little over a week ago in Florida. I think it was Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah.
Asian massage parlor. He went in to get a little massage, a little extra, and I guess there was a stakeout. And now they got all these tapes, and
I don't want to see it.
That's the thing, man.
No,
they said they got him on tape doing something with somebody in the Asian massage parlor. Please don't release that.
No, man.
The public doesn't need to see that. Florida police
smooched.
Nobody wants to see a 77-year-old man hitting that shit.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, nobody does. Good God, Earl.
Here's my thing. I did an Instagram post when I heard about the Robert Kraft thing, and I said, I don't think any less of that man.
I don't either.
He's done a lot of good. He really supported Meek Mill when he got out of prison. He's all about prison reform. Clearly knows how to run a football team. There's always going to be a few disgruntled employees, but I bet you 90% of the Patriots, they love Robert Kraft. And his wife passed away 7 years ago. I mean, look, if he can drop a load and makes him run his life a little better and smoother in the team.
Better. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got that kind of loot, you need to drop a load off every now and then. You know? And I've done when you worth that amount of money and that much power, and people were like, why is he going to Asian massage parlor? I said, dude, he ain't got time to be whining and dining. He got a lot of businesses. And I would put money on it that he had the girls that he liked. And I'm sure they was like, "Oh, Mr. Robert,
regular.
Thank you."
Yeah, he's right.
They probably wasn't even Robert at Days Massage parlor. It was probably Rick. Oh, hello, Mr. Rick.
Love you, no shit.
Yeah, we hear you back. Welcome back, Mr. Rick.
It shouldn't take long.
But I guess the issue is, and we talked about this on the phone, Dad.
Yeah.
Was the issue was the sex trafficking, the underage girls are bringing over.
In the wrong time at the wrong place.
But I said, people going off on Robert Kraft, that's the equivalent of somebody buying a dime bag, and you're mad at the drug traffickers for bringing in all the drugs. He was basically just buying a dime bag. The dude, I don't think it had anything to do with the sex trafficking. And what I don't get is, if you know what's happening, why are you recording it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, you got all these recordings of all these different men going in there.
It's just a sting. He got caught up in the sting, I think. I don't think this was obviously an investigation for a long, long time, and just the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm fine with it. They should legalize this shit anyway.
They should, just like they should legalize weed, they should legalize prostitution.
Weed for sure.
Yeah. If that's the deal you want, if somebody's willing to pay you for some pussy or some dick, it's whatever. That's between you two. I mean, it would probably. What's that?
I'm fine with that. I mean, I have no problem legalizing weed, especially, and the other stuff. I'm fine with that too.
You got some money right now, Dad? No. Okay.
No, not really.
He said, "Not really."
I'm retired. Hell yeah, I
got a one-hitter quitter. Don't pull him over, Cincinnati PD.
Let's go eat. Yeah.
I remember now. I remember my brother passed away. The day he passed away, I was a wreck. Like, I'm crying. It's, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm watching TV, and in Cincinnati, in Fairfield, Ohio, they did a bust of an Asian massage parlor, and they busted 3 women, and they were all in their 40s. Didn't look like anybody I'd want jacking me off. And they had said they staked it out for like 6 months. And I was just thinking, okay, so we got murderers, rapists, we got ISIS, we got
you're wasting your time.
Yeah, we got an opioid epidemic, and we're worried about guys getting hand jobs.
No,
at an Asian massage parlor.
Doesn't make any sense.
Because nobody ever died leaving an Asian massage parlor.
No,
the worst that ever happened was they had an unproductive day at after lunch at work. That's it. What got me when they busted those guys when they busted that massage parlor in Fairfield, Ohio, so 3 years ago. There were 2 guys inside of there getting a massage, but nothing was happening. So they got to let those guys go because they didn't do anything.
Got off. Okay.
Can you imagine what those guys felt like on their way back to work? How they dodged the bullet?
No doubt, man.
They was sweating.
God, yeah.
I guarantee
Play
you.
the lottery.
If they was married, they was calling their wives going like this, baby, let's do something crazy. Let's go on vacation. Let's go out. Shit. Man, I like this new you.
Man,
baby, awesome. I just appreciate you. I love you, baby girl.
You're the best, man.
I can't imagine. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had any close calls of getting arrested or you dodged a bullet?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is overseas. I mean,
all your stories are overseas.
I know. It was
I
Philippines.
think you lying. I think some of these stories are in Ohio.
No, it was in the Philippines, Subic Bay, and somebody told me, I looked like a movie star back then, and she loved me, no shit, and I thought she meant it. So but it was part of the deal. I paid for it, and.
Oh, you pay for
I paid for prostitute. Well, no, it was supposed to be a massage. But it turned into something other than that.
Right.
Was hoping for. I was 19, so I was hoping for the best there, and it all worked out. 10 pesos, 20 centavos. And
but that's not like you almost got busted.
No, I mean, that was for real. I never did that stuff back
I'm talking about like, I'm trying to think was there ever an instance where I was like, ooh, I could have gotten in trouble if I was there or gotten busted?
No. How about you? Has that ever happened to you?
I'm trying to think. I've never. You got to realize I was a cop for like 4 years in the military.
Right.
So I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I was like, I almost got busted. No, I don't think I ever have.
I never have. No.
Nothing was ever. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is stupid. So when I was in the Navy in DC, a dude gave me a gun. And there wasn't any bullets or nothing. It was a gun. And I had it underneath my seat, right? And my car.
Wasn't loaded.
No, nothing was in it.
Okay.
But it still was a gun, and I'm 18 or 19, whatever I was at the time. And I didn't, they had a checkpoint on the base, and they were randomly checking cars. And literally, the guy waved me through, and my car didn't get checked. It was, they were just picking random cars to pull over. And I was like, oh, shit.
Dodged a bullet there.
If I'd have
could've
gotten
been trouble.
I would have no explanation for that guy.
An issue.
No, I would have snitched. Without question, I would have been like, no, that was Smith's gun. Smith was in my car, and he asked me to hold it.
Wasn't me, man.
Let me tell you something. Smith would have went down.
Let me give you his name, number.
No, but you know when I was in the when I first got to L.A., I lived with a guy that's a drug dealer, gangster, man.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I saw quite a few drugs come through the house, and
you dodged a bullet there.
Yeah,
you did. You
now
dodged a bullet.
I'll tell you a crazy story though. So it's not well known, but I lived with basically just a hustler, I'll call him. My first roommate in LA was a hustler, and not a lot of his hustles were legal. And one time I came home off the road, and I'll never forget, there were 2 girls in my room, and I was like, and they were attractive, right? And I was like, so I walk in my room, and the girls go, "Oh my God, you came home early." And I went, "Who the fuck are you?" So I go to I go to Face, my roommate at the time. I said, "Face, man, there's like 2 girls in my room." He goes, "Oh, gee, I thought you was coming home tomorrow." He goes, "Yeah, they in from Vegas, man. I'm just making sure they good." They were high priced hookers.
Okay.
But my roommate he was taking them to wherever they was going. I'm probably sure it was in the Hollywood Hills somewhere. He was just making sure they was good. He was like security lookout, make sure everything was smooth. So he looks at me, he goes, first I was a little upset that there was 2 girls in my room, but then I looked, they did all my laundry. My sheets smelled amazing. I don't know if they fucked anybody in my room or not, but they washed the sheets.
Yeah, they washed sheets.
And it smells so April fresh. And literally my roommate goes, "Hey G, if you want some, it's cool." Like I was like, I was like this. I go, "No, I'm good. I'm good." That was young, naive Gary.
Yeah.
Don't let that happen. So a couple years later, I'd be like this. Let's go, girls.
Let's get it on.
Clothes off.
You ain't seen nothing like this.
I was just young, naive guy. I was like, nah, man, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm a little scared of that.
Yeah, there was some shit I saw that I'm not even, I don't even want to share as much on the podcast just because, he's locked up and I don't want him to feel like I'm talking about him.
Okay.
Yeah, I still go see him in Folsom.
Yeah,
that's my dude, man. That's my dude. Now, another thing we were talking about off the air was I reached out to Antonio Brown from the Steelers. Well, almost the Steelers. And he reached out back to me. And it's funny, man, because I saw him on The Shop, that show on HBO, the LeBron James show. And it was interesting because I love that show because you see, I really feel like the players, they trust LeBron and Mav Carter and the guys that put that show on. So they open up a lot more than they would just a reporter talking. And they put in like a barbershop setting. Mm-hmm. So guys, some reason about getting your hair cut at black barbershops, you just open up. Yeah, sure. So it was Jamie Foxx, Gerard Carmichael, Antonio Davis, Antonio Brown, LeBron, and Mav Carter. LeBron's he runs all LeBron's companies. But Antonio started talking about, he was quiet most of the episode. And then he started, and I apologize if I keep picking at my nose. I'm not picking at it. It's just I just switched weathers and I went from hot to cold and I'm just all congested. So I'm just keep sniffing. Sorry about that if you hear that I was on the road. So Antonio was quiet most of the episode and then he started talking and it was funny because he said something that made a lot of sense. Now, I like Antonio, top 5 wide receivers of the last, not just this year, last 10 years. But he says, funny how it was never a problem until this year. He said, and then he said, as soon as I started to buck the system a little bit, like the front office, he goes, leaks. All of a sudden there's leaks. And he said, man, when the front office of the NFL, especially within your own team, when you start bucking the system, I said, all of a sudden they can change the narrative on how people are trying to view you. And he was like, I always thought that you kept everything in the locker room. He said, but when Ben started to call me out in public, he goes, I was like, yo. He goes, when Ben was like, I need Antonio to run a better route, he was like, I didn't throw an interception to the D lineman either. So he's like,
big baby. Ben is, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I think.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah,
but and it kind of validated a lot of stuff Antonio Brown said because one of the, I don't know what the guy's job title is, one of the GMs of the Steelers was like, Ben is the leader of this because he's won a Super Bowl and he has to be the leader of 52 kids. And I was like,
okay.
Yeah, that's a dig. Like, that tells y'all need to know.
That's the narrative?
Jeez. Yeah.
Please,
but I sent him a message through Instagram. And I just said, hey, man, I enjoyed watching you on the shop, man. It was real cool to see your side of the story and open my eyes and stuff. And then he had said, he reached out back to me. We exchanged cell numbers. And he said, man, I'd love to come on your podcast. And you can come on mine whenever you get a chance. Cool. So he's probably not going to be on the one in Cincy because I don't think he's coming here.
No. No, he's not coming here.
But the good thing is I also live in Northern California. And he might be going to San Francisco. That's the rumor. So if he goes to San Francisco, it'll be easy to get AB on the podcast.
He's going to get paid. He's just good. He's just fantastic to watch. I'd pay to see him play. Very few players.
Really pisses me off, though. He's always
won't come
us.
Here. No. He's not coming
we don't have a spot for him. We got a number one. He wants to be the number one.
True. You're right.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, we got our number
Chicago makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because they're really close. They got a good defense. But I also think Antonio's going to realize, as much baggage that comes with Ben Roethlisberger, he is a good quarterback.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Once the game starts, he's a good quarterback. Now, everything that comes with it outside of those 60 minutes on Sunday, that's a lot. Because it's like Antonio said, like, he never worked out with Ben the offseason. He never saw Ben the offseason. Ben was never over his house during the season. He never went to Ben's house. And he goes, we're supposed to be in sync.
Yeah, no kidding.
But you're not spending any time together outside of that. And I go, I get that when personalities clash, it's tough, man. Like I had a TV show with Shaq, and I can relate because I had a TV show with Shaq about 6-7 years ago called Upload, and there was another comedian on the show called Godfrey. His name's Godfrey.
I remember.
And look, I ain't got nothing bad to say about Godfrey. It was just our personalities didn't click at all, and it got a little tense sometimes on set just because I don't think he liked my personality. And I like his personality. But he's not a bad dude.
It didn't come out on the show, though. I mean,
I think it did a little bit.
You a little bit?
Yeah, I think they edited it, but I think it came out a little bit. Okay. But it was just, for some reason, we didn't click. And I can't explain it. Like, if you're going to say anything, it was Godfrey's fault, it was both our faults.
Yeah.
It was, for some reason, it was like oil and vinegar. We did not connect.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Antonio and Ben's relationship is like.
Right.
Like, they're both great ball players. But for whatever reason, their personalities don't mix at all.
Well, especially you get a number one whiteout and a quarterback, you got to do stuff together. Even back when Carson Palmer was here, Chad Johnson, they would go places together to try to get that chemistry going. It takes effort. It really does. So,
yeah, that's a fact. Because I know Randy Moss was him and Tom Brady was tight. Look how that worked out.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Larry Fitzgerald and Kurt Warner. I mean, a lot of times, your wide receiver and your quarterback, man, you just got to be in sync.
Better be close. Yeah, and on and off the field.
Yeah,
because
I was talking to Steve Smith about that when he played for the Ravens and he played for the Carolina Panthers. He goes, dude, when Cam Newton got the Carolina, he goes, I kind of knew I was on the way out. He goes, because what was I going to talk to Cam about? He goes, I'm in my 30s, he's in his 20s. Yeah, he's trying to dance. And he goes, dude, I'm just here I got to go home with wife and kids.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I mean? He was like a kid. He goes, talent-wise, it was unbelievable. He goes, I got a feeling I was on my way out, man.
Yeah.
What the hell do I got in common with Cam Newton? He's 21. I'm over 30. I got a wife and kids, and he's single, just trying to, figure it out.
Sure.
So,
Footloose and fancy free. Yep.
While I was in Orlando, shout out to Ken Griffey and his family. So we go over Ken's house. He's got this thing called a Traeger grill. And I've heard about the Traeger grill on the Joe Rogan podcast. Have you?
Yeah. Dan Patrick does a lot of advertising for that grill.
Have you ever had any meat off of that?
Never. Ever. Good.
I'm going to get one.
What's it like?
It's these pellets you put in the grill, on the side of the grill. Yeah. And you plug it up and they smoke the grill up. You can pretty much make anything in it. You can make like lasagna or pot roast in it.
Wow.
And it's all electric. The pellets heat up and they can different flavored pellets. Flavors. So Ken made us steaks, right? So, man, them motherfuckers
was good.
Real Ken, let me tell you something. Ken can cook. He made this broccoli, this asparagus. Sweet. Ken can throw down in the grill. I was shocked.
Better than bread or not? No.
I think he had bread beef, but it was the grill.
Okay,
the grill had a lot to do with it.
All right, bread can grill.
But talking about the Bengals and the Steelers. Now, a lot of people know this. Ken Griffey Jr.'s son was on the practice squad for the Steelers last year, Trey. So I asked him, I said, as soon as I get to the house, I said, hey, what's up, Trey? Are you still with the Steelers? He goes, we beat your ass twice last year. I was like, really? Right. That's your hello?
Thanks.
So then I asked him. So we're eating. I said, hey man, I said, look, I went to the game when you guys when the Steelers beat the Bengals early in the season when the Bengals were 4-1.
Yeah.
And I said, when we went up 21-20 with a minute 19, I go, I've seen this movie.
We were in trouble. Yeah.
I've seen it too many times.
Fuck.
And Trey said, we basically got out coached, is what he said.
Oh, absolutely.
He said, we knew you guys were going to be tight. We ran like a pick route. He goes, they called it on the sidelines. I go, and he goes, the way they called it, the Steeler coaches, he's like, they said, the Bengals are going to do this. Like they knew what we were going to do. The defense is going to get called. Man. We just got out coached.
Saw it come. There's no doubt about it. As soon as Mixon scored, minute 19, I looked at my son-in-law. I went, it's over. We just lost the game. There's no way they're gonna march right down the field. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, we just got out coached, man. Got out coached. But he did say, I said, now who on our defense sticks out the most? Who on the Bengals defense? He said Jessie Bates, the DB from Wake Forest, the safety.
I would think Carlos or
he said Jessie Bates. Well, he's a wide receiver.
Oh, he's
probably talking about DBs.
Okay, all right.
So he was like, he goes, dude, that dude's a real deal.
Wow.
So, that's good to know. He's coming into year 2.
Yeah, we're getting hopeful.
You know what I mean?
It's March and we're getting hopeful.
He said, round the bag he goes, Jessie Bates, man. But it's funny when you go to Ken's house because I always feel like my life ain't shit when I leave there. Because the house is so big.
Is it
it's
really?
So nice.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
saw
plush.
That Instagram looked pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I've gone over pretty much every year for the last 4 years when I do the Orlando Improv and stuff. But he's totally redone his basement. And it's just like, really? He's got, but he's still a Cincinnati guy at heart, man, because he's on this, like, he's trying to lose some weight. Ken is. So he's down like 25 pounds in the last couple months, and he's eating like 12 ounces of protein and blah, blah, blah. But he said, dude, I said, well, what's the end game? And he goes, well, I think it's like 90 days or something. He goes, day 91, going straight to Skyline. I guess there's a Skyline in Tampa.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So he's going to drive over to, I said, you going to drive to Tampa? It's not a bad drive. I said, for Skyline?
Skyline, yeah.
He said, right to Skyline.
Sure.
Immediately.
You hadn't had it in a long time. Sure, I'd drive. Hell yeah.
So he's still a Cincinnati kid at heart. The fact that his first like cheat meal when he lose weight is going to be Skyline.
Hey, I can relate.
Ken's great, man. Him and his whole family's great. And then, last night, my last night in Orlando, Prince Fielder came, the baseball player. And it was funny. So I had met him once before at Rock and Jock, showing my age, 1994. And his dad was in it, and he was like 8 years old. And a buddy of mine that I was in the Navy with umped it. He used to ump minor league baseball games and softball games. So he got asked to ump the Rock and Jock. And I went with him, and so I got to meet a lot of the guys, and nobody knew who I was back then.
Right.
But it was like Hammer was there. And I said, yo, man, I met you when you was like 8 at the Rock and Jock. Cool. And then he had said he had seen me in 2006 or 7. He was playing, whoever he was playing for at the time, the Tigers maybe. He said him and his wife were they were coming out of the Westin. And I guess me and Kenya was walking down the street, and they were like, oh shit, another interracial couple. Oh, yeah. And he goes, then they went, oh, that's the funny white dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, why'd you say hi? But he does exactly what me and my wife does. He goes, they see interracial couples and they just stop. Yeah. And they just stare at them.
Study. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I see an interracial couple, I stop and look. Yeah. And then don't ask me why I'm looking at you. Why are you looking at me? Because I'm black? Yes. That's exactly why I'm looking at you. Because I didn't know you were going to be with a white girl. I didn't know you were going to be with a white dude. It's nothing bad. I'm straight staring at you because you're black. Yeah, with a white dude or with a white girl.
Yeah.
So he said that was funny. Like, we've run each other twice, but that's the first time we actually met. All right. So this is what I want to get into. The Jussie Smollett incident. Now, a month ago, I came on here talking about how I can't believe this happened. This is the state of the country. And if you look at the podcast from a month ago and look at Jussie Smollett, at the very end of it, I had said, like 15 years ago in my hometown of Oxford, Ohio, there was the Black Student Union, and the Black Student Union got trashed, and there's people like they tore up all the computers. They sprayed it KKK on the wall. They sprayed it the N-word all over.
Stupid.
So there was this big thing like Jesse Jackson was supposed to come in, all this other stuff. Come to find out, it was two black dudes that did it. Two black dudes trashed the Black Student Union, trying to charge this already. I guess there was some racial shit going on up in Oxford and Miami of Ohio, and they was trying to really charge that up. Right. So they did that. And I said that at the end of my podcast. And when I said it in my brain, I go, man, what if he's staging this shit? But I didn't voice it on the podcast about a month ago. And honestly, I was one of those guys. I wasn't being a lion. I was being a sheep. I was just following what I had seen on social media.
Sure.
I didn't really look at the case. So I was like, I saw all these people posted on my Instagram, praying for you, Jesse, thinking about you, Jesse. And I was like this. I go, oh, wait, what happened? So all I saw was he got jumped in Chicago and everything else. And then I really didn't take a minute to be like, let me really dissect this. So when I saw his interview on Good Morning America, I went, wait a minute.
Something ain't right.
I've been jumped before. Yeah. You've been jumped before.
I have. Yeah. You get your ass kicked, man.
When you get jumped, you're so just thankful to be alive and thankful that you're safe. You're not looking like, yeah, I whooped those motherfuckers' asses too. And you're like, whoa, that happened fast.
Oh, man.
This dude was lying the whole time, made up the whole story. Yeah, and I'm like, and I fell for it. I think Jared, too. Listen, if you're, and then when I started thinking, I go, now it doesn't make any sense, the whole thing, because hold on, you're in Chicago, it's -2 degrees, and there's just these Trump supporters lying in wait, hoping you go to Subway at that time of night?
Nothing
like,
it's so cold, story, man.
Even Jared from Subway is in jail right now. Like, that didn't happen in Subway. There's no way that happened in Subway.
There's no way.
Jared was like, there's no fucking way, bro.
Jesus.
But looking at it, I'm like, but here's the thing. Everyone's like, well, he's on a hit show, and why does he need more attention? And what's missing in his life that he had to stage this entire incident? And trust me, I've looked at it now. I've watched all the interviews with him. I looked at the video when he performed in LA 3 nights after the attack, when he said, I'm the gay Tupac. Clearly, something's going on where in his brain, Jussie Smollett, that he feels like he is not where he needs to be in his life right now professionally.
You think it was about the money? You think he just wanted to get paid?
No,
more?
It was not about the money. Fame is a drug. Okay. And when you feel like you're falling off, quote unquote.
That's why I'm doing a podcast, because my fame's coming.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
You're back.
Thanks.
Listen, as a guy that has been more famous and less famous at certain times in your career, Jamie Foxx told me early on in my career, we did Held Up together, and he was like, Gary, man, this whole entertainment business is nothing but a big ass temp job. It's just a big temp job. There's no job security. It's up and down. It's a big ass roller coaster, and you just got to navigate through it. And you got to make sure you surround yourself with the right people that can bring you down when your head's getting big, and when you're down can lift you up at the same time. So listen, I've been on sets. I went through it with Think Like a Man 2. I'll tell a story I've never told before. So we're shooting Think Like a Man 2, and as we're on set, Kev's got a million things going on. So his agent came from UTA. They were talking about this movie, this product you're gonna endorse, this shit. So I'm seeing Kev just take off, right? Michael Ealy, I see his agent come one day, and they were talking about his next movie. Romney is always doing something. Romney had like a show on Hulu. Jared Ferreira had like talking. He had getting ready to do these other films. And as I'm talking amongst the guys, and these are like my good friends on set, everybody's going to another project, and I'm sitting here, and I literally my manager, my agent came in for a weekend, and I had dinner with them, and they looked at me, they go, you seem frustrated. I said, I am. I said, what do I got next? And I'm literally rattling off. I go, everybody, and even the girls had a lot of things go. I said, everybody on this movie has got something lined up but me. I said, what do I got? What do I got? And they're like, well, don't be frustrated. And I was like, dude. And I was literally venting to them. Couldn't vent to the guys on set. It's not their fault. They're just doing their career. couldn't vent. It's hard because you got nobody to vent to. I got my wife and I got my agent manager. And that's why you have to have a good manager. And because my manager's a woman, she has to be the one to be like, to open my eyes to things. Like, Gary, where you were 3 years ago to where you're at now is night and day. But I was frustrated. And all I could say is, you got half our cast went and did that top 5 movie with Chris Rock after they were at Think Like a Man. Like Kev went, Gab went. Was Rami in that? I don't know. But it was like 4 or 5 of the cast members went off to do that. And I remember I was like, fuck, I'm in goddamn Des Moines, Iowa at the Funny Bone as soon as we wrap. I was thinking, we wrapped the movie and I'm like, I'm in Des Moines. And I was just like, but thank God I was able to vent to my wife and vent to that. It wasn't really venting. It's just you're frustrated because you're like, what do I got next? What I can say is, and I don't know this, it's an outsider looking in, with Jussie Smollett, it was, if you're on a hit show like Empire and you see Taraji, and Taraji just had a hit movie, What Men Want, come out, and Terrence Howard's always in films, and you might see like their agent and manager coming around and be like, dude, we got this coming up, this coming up, this coming up, you got their publicist coming up, blah, blah, blah. You start to be like, oh, what do I got?
Yeah.
Well, I feel left out. And then you concoct in your brain this story like, I know I can get some attention. I can do this, and then you get people feel sorry for you. Makes sense. Because people, listen, just playing the victim, people really boost your ego and make you feel good when they feel like you're a victim. Yeah. And he played the victim role. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Well, I saw the interview, Robert. I saw that and I'm thinking, man, some don't jive here. This just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would, in Chicago, 2 guys jump black gay guy for what? I mean, it just didn't, the way he said it just didn't seem sincere to me. That's all.
I didn't think he was sincere when he went, the one line that got me when he went like this, he said, when you're, one thing, when you lie a lot, you say truth a lot. You say true and truth. Yeah. So he said, that's the truth. It's true. That's the truth.
So help me God.
You're trying to convince yourself it's the truth.
Yeah.
And,
true that. Yeah.
And when he said, so the guy yelled Empire and then he came and he hit me. He goes, so I hit his ass back. I was like, oh, you're trying to be like, this is where the gay Tupac came in. Yeah. Now he was like, yeah, I hit his ass back. I went, oh, he's not telling the truth, dude. He's not telling the truth. So that's my only logic to it, is because you can get on sets with people and then you're like, and TV's got to be worse than a movie. Movie, you're only with them for a short time. TV, you're with those people for years. So if you see somebody's career just taking off, you can get frustrated.
I bet. Yeah.
Now, let's go the other end of it. Talk about a good way to handle fame is the TV show Mike and Molly, where Melissa McCarthy was like the sidekick. That was right. That was Billy Gardell's show. Yeah. He developed that. That was his show. They cast Melissa McCarthy.
Now she's blowing up everywhere. She's in everything.
She had Bridesmaids come out. Yep. And then she's in all these movies. So they had all these, she's becoming the lead now of the show. She's the biggest star, even though it's Billy Gardell's show.
Right.
So when you do live audience tapings like that on TV shows, the biggest star always gets introduced last when you're doing a sitcom. It was getting to the point where, and this is what I heard from a reliable source, they had said, it's getting to the point where Melissa felt like not her personally, but she's getting the big ovation when they announce her name. Then Billy Gardell's last. They're like, whenever you do a sitcom and go to live taping, they introduce the cast, right? And you clap. Like if you're doing the Fresh Prince, they're gonna do Jeffrey, Uncle Phil, Hillary, and then they'll do Alfonso Ribeiro, and then last will be Will Smith. He's the lead of the show. It was getting to the point where Billy Gardell should have been getting introduced before Melissa McCarthy, even though it's not her show, because she's getting a big ovation. She got more.
Okay.
So when it came time to renegotiate, Melissa McCarthy had to renegotiate her deal with the network for the TV show. And Billy Gardell literally he walked in and was like, hey, let's make this short. Whatever you gave Melissa, I'll just take the same deal. That was so simple. Well, Melissa's Billy's like, I'm aware of what's going on, but it's still my show. Just give me the same deal as her. Yeah, we're good. I don't need more money. I'll take the same. It's straight. We're good. I was like this. That was like one of a great story because he just walked, whatever you gave her, just give me same. We're good. That made the most sense to me. That's another way of handling it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's my only logic to this is he felt like fame was dipping a little bit, and fame is a drug, and so is being a victim. And he thought, I can do that.
And your line are people that insecure? I mean,
my actors.
Are they the most insecure people ever? Or
yeah,
not? I don't know.
Listen, they're actors. They're playing somebody else.
Okay. So I just don't know the mindset. It's just, I don't know.
It's the reason a lot of people can't do it. I mean, it spits you up and eats you out if you're not ready. Thank God I'm a stand-up because sometimes that's I look at the money, the money I make at the end of the year when I get my tax return and stuff like that. Yeah. When I see the money I made in TV and film through residual checks and everything else, it's a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
But my lifestyle and the way I live is through stand-up. Yeah. That's how that's how I function.
It just seems to me, the stand-up comedians, the money's in the pocket, the Jerry Seinfelds, all those guys, they always go back to stand-up. It's like that's the drug. They need it.
That's for stand-ups,
yeah. They got to go back to that. So I don't know.
Well, to me, it just keeps your creative juices flowing.
Right.
To me, it keeps you young, keeps you relevant, keeps you in the loop. You don't see a lot of let me tell you something. You don't see a lot of stand-ups dying early.
No.
And we live a long time.
You guys do.
Because I think our brain is constantly in motion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even Kevin Hart, it's like he clearly doesn't need to do stand-up anymore.
No.
But he's still out there on the road.
Oh, yeah.
You love it, man.
That's what I mean. I think it's like a drug for you guys. I mean, it's just, I think
Eddie Murphy's the only one that just said, no, he's not doing it anymore. Because even Martin Lawrence is back on the road.
Right.
George Carlin did it till he died.
Yeah.
Don Rickles did it till he died.
Right. Well, I saw Don Rickles when he was in his 80s at Belterra Casino. There was a band. He sang, he danced, and he told jokes. And I was thoroughly entertained. It was unbelievable. This guy was like 88 years old. Yeah. He's still doing it. So
yeah, man.
Jesus.
He was one of the best. There's a great story about him and Frank Sinatra where he had said, hey, Frank, man, I got this. This is back in the Rat Pack days.
Yeah.
He goes, Frank, man, I got this girl, man. I really like her. He said, you think when we're at dinner, you can just come over and say hi, make me feel good like you know me. And then Frank goes, all right. So Don Rickles is at dinner with this girl. Frank Sinatra walks over and goes, hey, Don. He goes, Frank, I'm fucking eating, bro. Can you get the fuck away from me?
Yeah, please. Thanks,
and
man.
Frank, he said, just walked away like, that motherfucker got me. Like, he was on a real date. He was like, this, Frank.
He got it.
I'm fucking eating,
He
man.
got it. Yeah.
Don't be interrupting me when I eat. That's a great story, man.
Yeah, it is.
Anything else been going on in your life? You want to share?
Just, I'm playing poker. Got plenty of weed. My life's
That's
so
retirement?
exciting. Yeah.
Poker and weed?
Waiting for you to call to do a podcast once in a while. Thanks.
Poker and weed.
That's it. I mean, my wife's now retired and we just,
Jane's retired?
She's retired.
I didn't know she retired.
A couple months ago. So
you guys just sitting at the house?
we just, we do whatever we want. Every day's a Saturday, So I love being retired. It's awesome. But I don't know. I follow your career. Your sisters, one of them's getting married in the fall.
Yeah,
so
Kayla's getting married October 12th.
So you're in that wedding.
I just got called yesterday.
So
Matt called.
Heads up. So that's it. Enjoying life.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting, Dad.
Boring.
That's some exciting shit.
Glad I can enlighten you.
My left ball's hanging lower than my right. Getting old. Got to get that Cialis.
Yeah, no kidding. Jesus, little blue pill. Diesel. Rise and shine.
Is Cialis blue or is Viagra blue?
Viagra's blue. Not that I know that for sure, but
I was trying to say
that's what I heard.
I'm getting to the point I feel like I'm going to need it soon. I can feel it coming.
Really? Yeah.
I can feel it coming, man.
Yeah, you'll know right away. Might need a little assistance here.
That was like, I love that the movie This Is 40.
Yeah.
When he had taken I think he took Viagra, Cialis, and his wife was like, I can't believe you got to take that, have sex with me. And he was like, I'm just trying to spice it up.
Hey, man,
Don't see what
cool,
I'm like. I love you. And now that I'm over 40, I'd be looking at it like, I think I'm going to need that pretty soon, man.
Man. The shit works.
It's coming. It's coming. Then they give you all the side effects.
No kidding. Headaches. And not that I know that. But I heard it gives you a headache.
So, baseball season's coming up. You said about the Reds?
I can't wait, man. We were out in Sedona, Arizona. We went out there a couple weeks ago, stopped by Goodyear, and there's a vibe there that's hadn't been there in a long time. I think Kemp, Queeg, Wood, the pitcher they picked up, they're going to be competitive. They're going to be competitive. Scooter. Yeah, Suarez. They're going to be good. They are. But
I hope, man. They've been sorry for a long time.
Kemp thinks they're going to be good. I mean, I think they're going to be competitive. I don't know about playoffs, but they should win 80, 85 games, I would think.
Listen, if any hoes are out there listening to my podcast, stop chasing football and basketball players. Baseball's where the money's at. Did you see what the fuck Bryce Harper just signed for?
God, unbelievable.
10 years, $330 million.
Yeah, those contracts never work out, man. Them long-term contracts, they never work out.
But the money's guaranteed in baseball.
Oh, I know.
He's getting $330 million, regardless.
You can buy a World Series. Pretty much.
Yeah.
You can buy a
And it
World
wasn't Machado signed with the Padres for $300 million. Listen, any hoes out there, go to some baseball games. The money's guaranteed.
That's where the money is, no doubt.
Jesus Christ. Let me tell you something. I got 3 kids. One of my kids ever signs any kind of deal for $330 million. That's my favorite kid.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't even ask.
My favorite grandkid right there.
I feel like this.
I love
Dad,
that
you
kid.
don't treat me like him. You don't make $330 million.
There's something different here.
But what do you mean? I'm overseas building wells in Nicaragua. I'm saving orphans. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a
Your
shit.
brother is $330 million. He's my favorite.
He flies me first class wherever I want to go.
That is my favorite son. He should be your favorite brother. I don't give a fuck about your other brothers. That's your favorite brother. Don't be a dumbass. I got Austin, Emilio, and Kenny. Any of those 3 ever signed.
Yeah. All right, man. That's my favorite.
That's my favorite kid. Oh my gosh. That's the funny shit too. My kids, man, I got one. It's where we homeschooled Austin for 2 years. And now we get out to California. And for some reason, some of his credits didn't transfer. And one school said we can't enroll him like that. One school said we can enroll him, but we got to enroll him as a junior. So now I have, instead of a senior and junior, I have 2 juniors. And I said, damn, I got twins.
2 graduations.
And 2 graduations. But they go to 2 different high schools.
Okay.
Right? And it's hysterical because my daughter's high school is beautiful. I mean, it's what you think a California high school would look like. It's outdoorsy. There's a big pool. Everything looks new. My son's school, not so much. But I was like this, but he loves it.
Sure,
Austin loves that fucking school. I'll be like, you went from this, I'm not going to call the schools out. But I'm like, you went from this nice ass high school to this, And he was like this. He loves that shit.
No big deal.
Grades are good.
I'm cool with it.
He's social. But my kids have totally bought into the California lifestyle.
Sure.
I mean, they're both eating better.
They're working
out all the time. Yeah. Like my daughter's already dropped 10 pounds because my daughter's not like a heavy girl, but she's just thick. Yeah. Like I'm a thick guy. She's a thick girl. But she is dropped 10 pounds.
Yep.
She's killing
Beautiful
it.
Girl.
Working out, eating right. Austin is too. I'm like this.
Hey,
that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Got to California. Not going to be in Skyline.
No way.
Out there. Organic, baby. All right, man. Why I'm literally, this podcast was done on 2 hours sleep. 2 hours. I landed.
Made it.
I got to go do some laundry. I got to get something to eat. And I ain't moving from my apartment. This is one of them. This was one of those days that I said we're going to keep a place in Cincinnati for this reason. Because if I wouldn't have the place in Cincy, it's either fly back to California and then fly to New York tomorrow. But as it was, I could just jet up to Cincy, run some errands, get the podcast done here.
Glad he did, man.
Yeah. See my dad.
Sure.
And then I can get a decent night's rest, do some lunch, and then I can head. It's a short flight tomorrow to New York instead of a long cross country flight. This is one of them times it really worked out that I got a place in Cincinnati. So, all right, this is Gary and Gary with the GetSome podcast. See you guys next week. If you want to listen to my podcast, just go to iTunes, search Gary Owen, #GetSome.